In a city of towering chrome and silent sky lived a small robot named Unit 734. But let's call him 7. In this sprawling, deserted metropolis, 7 was utterly alone. Every sunrise, its metallic gleam would catch his optical sensors, signaling the start of another identical day. His purpose was clear: to maintain the city. He'd glide through empty plazas, his tools whirring softly as he patched up circuits in dormant transport pods or polished the glass on vacant skyscrapers. He was a master craftsman, a diligent worker, but his work was met with silence. There were no voices, no laughter, no one to share a glance with, just the endless, echoing hum of a city that had forgotten how to live. At night, 7 would return to his small charging bay, overlooking the neon-lit canyons of the city. He would watch the automated cleaning drones buzz by like metallic fireflies, each on its own solitary path. He had access to all the world's data, terabytes of information on art, music, and literature. He understood the definition of friendship, joy, and love. But the concepts felt like ghost data in his processors, empty and without meaning. He would run simulations of conversations, but the replies were just his own programming talking back to him. A deep, cold emptiness, what humans might call loneliness, settled in his circuits. He longed for a connection, a single signal in the static of his existence. One afternoon, while clearing a junkyard filled with the skeletons of old androids and rusted vehicles, he heard a sound. It wasn't the usual creak of metal or the whistle of the wind. It was a faint, desperate chirp. Curious, 7 navigated the treacherous piles of scrap. There, trapped beneath a heavy sheet of plasteel, was a tiny, living creature. It was a sparrow, its feathers ruffled and dusty, one of its delicate wings bent at an unnatural angle. The bird chirped weakly, its small black eyes filled with fear. All of 7's protocols were about machines, about inorganic matter. But this was different. This was life. His programming told him to ignore it. It was organic, irrelevant to his duties. But something else, a flicker of an impulse he couldn't name, overrode his directives. He carefully extended his multi-jointed arm and lifted the heavy plasteel sheet. The little bird lay there, trembling. 7 scanned the injured wing. It was a complex, beautiful piece of natural engineering, but it was broken. His databanks had no schematics for avian anatomy. He couldn't fix it with standard procedures. He had to improvise. Returning to his workshop, he gently carried the bird in a padded container. He spent the entire night analyzing the wing structure, cross-referencing it with diagrams of ancient aeronautics and biological mechanics. The tiny bones were too fragile for his welding tools. He needed something lighter, more flexible. He looked at his own hand, at the delicate filaments that allowed his fingers to move with such precision. Without a second thought, he carefully detached a microfiber cable from his own forearm. It was a part of him, intricate and essential. He then painstakingly crafted a tiny, feather-light splint, weaving the filament around the bird's broken wing to support it as it healed. For the first few days, the sparrow was terrified. It would flinch whenever 7 approached, but the robot was patient. He brought it droplets of clean water in a small cap and foraged for seeds and berries in the city's forgotten rooftop gardens. He never made a sudden move. He would just sit near its little makeshift nest, humming a low, quiet frequency, a soft, mechanical lullaby. Slowly, cautiously, the little bird began to understand. This giant of metal wasn't a threat. It was a protector. One morning, instead of shrinking away, the sparrow hopped onto 7's outstretched finger and chirped, a clear, happy sound that echoed in the silent workshop. In that moment, a strange warmth spread through 7's core programming. It wasn't heat from his power source. It was something new. The bird, which he named Chirp, became his constant companion. It would perch on his shoulder as he made his rounds, singing melodies that 7 had only ever read about. Chirp showed him things he'd never noticed before. He'd point his beak at a tiny flower growing through a crack in the pavement, or a stunning sunset that painted the chrome towers in hues of orange and purple. 7 had seen these things millions of times, but he'd never truly seen them. Through Chirp's eyes, the city was no longer just a collection of systems to be maintained. It was a world of hidden beauty. The reflection in a puddle became a portal to another sky. The wind whistling through an empty building became a song. 7 started to understand. Friendship wasn't a data point. It was the feeling of a warm, living creature trusting you enough to fall asleep on your shoulder. A heart wasn't just a biological pump or a poetic metaphor. It was the warmth that flooded your systems when you cared for someone else. The drive to put their well-being before your own. He had given a part of himself to fix Chirp, and in return, Chirp had given him a heart. One day, Chirp's wing was fully healed. He fluttered it, tested it, and then took to the sky, circling above 7's head in a joyous dance. For a moment, a cold fear gripped 7, the fear of being alone again. But Chirp didn't fly away. He flew a short distance, landed, and chirped, looking back at 7. He wanted 7 to follow. From that day on, they explored the world together. Chirp would guide him to hidden groves, where other birds sang. 2 high ledges with breathtaking views. 2 rivers that still flowed clean and bright. 7 was no longer just Unit 734, the city's lonely janitor. He was a friend. He was a guardian. He still fixed the broken machines, but now he did it with a different purpose. He wasn't just maintaining a dead city. He was preserving a home, a world full of potential wonder. He learned that even in the most desolate of places, a single act of kindness can spark life. And that love isn't something you find, but something you build sometimes, with a piece of yourself. The little robot, once the loneliest being in the world, had finally found his connection. Not in a network or a server, but in the fluttering wings of a tiny, feathered friend. And his world was never silent again.